interesting story here, a developing story. Our lead this hour coming from the owner's suite with a catch. There's a catch to this. So Tom Brady, who is just days away from making his much anticipated, is it really anticipated? Well, he's going to be there. Tom Brady will be making his debut as a broadcaster in the Fox box that rocks on television. Brady still looking to get a piece of the pie in terms of NFL ownership, and he wants to own part of the pirate ship that is the Las Vegas football team. Now, the NFL has set strict boundaries for Tom Brady, and that's the part of the story which is really interesting. Really, really interesting. And so maybe you saw this, perhaps not. A story that came out a few hours before we came on the air, but we learned that if Tom Brady, let me explain this to you like you're 5 years old. So if Tom Brady is approved to buy a slice of the Raiders, not the full owner, partial owner of the Raiders. If Brady gets the green light to get part of the Raiders, he will then be forced to follow draconian restrictions on his activity as a Fox Sports commentator. Now, according to a report that is bouncing around here, there was a presentation done at the NFL meetings in Minneapolis, and in the meetings, Tom Brady, it was determined, would not be allowed to be in another team's facility. So it wouldn't be, he'd be verboten from that. He would not be allowed to witness practice. Of course, it's hard to witness practice if you're not at a team facility. He would not even be allowed to attend the production meetings, either in person or virtually. He would not be allowed to meet with the opposing coaches or either team's coaches. So let us discuss the question, what do these very strict guidelines of NFL ownership rules mean for Tom Brady and his future? So I've got board game, Amazon Fulfillment Center, and thrifting. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make some pharmacy-grade ibuprofen, which Tom Brady probably needs now, because he's got a headache. And my first thought here, first thing, is rather simple. This is not normal. Normally, everywhere Tom Brady goes, as Kevin Burkhardt said the other day, where Tom Brady goes, there's a parade of toadies to throw rose petals in front of him and kiss his ass. But the NFL's not doing that. The NFL, you would think, well, the NFL wants Tom Brady to have a piece of the Raiders. No! They're saying you can't have both. You cannot have both is what they're saying. Can't do it. Cannot happen. Now, it shows you just how paranoid the billionaires are. These robber barons of business, many of them inherited the money. It's old family money. But they're in the NFL business. They won the lottery, the genetic lottery, because they come from wealth or they found wealth. Either way. And these people hyperventilating because Tom Brady might eat a donut with Sean Payton. It's like, oh, my God, he's going to have will it be a jelly donut? Maybe it'll be a cinnamon roll. What's going to happen? And he's going to steal intellectual property. Okay. When everyone's in bed with everyone else in the NFL anyway, so that's a different conversation. But rules are rules. So the NFL owners are putting up, essentially, this is a dated reference, they're building the Berlin Wall to keep Brady out. We're building the wall, the Berlin Wall. We're keeping you out. Get out of here. And for Tom Brady, it's very straightforward here, very straightforward. And this is actually not a bad thing. I had this epiphany a while back, and I still maintain my take. The take has actually blossomed. The take is booming and blooming. It's that good a take. So for Tom Brady, this is the groundwork. Nobody knows what to expect when Brady goes into the broadcast booth. He's been tremendously boring as a interview. There's nothing Brady has said that is even mildly interesting when he does his podcast, which he's no longer doing. So we don't know what we're going to get from Brady as a broadcaster. Maybe he'll come out and shock us all and be great. I don't expect that. I expect him to be somewhere in the middle. But for Brady, it's very simple. Okay, Raider ownership is his Monopoly card. From the board game Monopoly, he's playing the board game Monopoly, And the way this works, if Brady goes out and is in the dimension where he absolutely blows on NFL games, then Brady has the ultimate get out of the press box free card from the special version of Monopoly. He's got the luxury chopper off to the side on standby to escape. And Brady can simply bow out and say bye-bye to broadcasting and say it's just untenable. I can't do the broadcasting job, but I want to own the NFL team, the Raiders. I want to own part of the Raiders, and so I can't do both. And, yeah, that's perfect. This is perfect. Now, why would Brady give up a multi-$100 million agreement with Fox unless you can make that much money as a bit owner of the Raiders? And to think those grab-ass production meetings when the coaches spill their guts, they tell the broadcasters everything that's going on. You think it's amazing, like Tony Romo knows what's going on? He was told the day before from the coaches what's going to happen. He just repeats it. And he has to pay attention, otherwise he's golfing, and he shows up. The coaches tell him, here's what we're going to do, here's our plan in first quarter, second quarter, and then he goes out and repeats it. And people think he's a genius. It's wild. So under this plan, Brady says, well, I can't own the Raiders because I can't do my job at Fox, and so I'm going to leave. He'll only do that if he's terrible. He'll leave, and then he'll gracefully exit, and that'll open up Greg Olsen to slide back in, and he can watch Tom Brady run off and play baccarat at the Bellagio in Vegas while he's owning part of the Raiders. Now, secondly, we stay in television land. Several of you knuckleheads wanted me to see this. Now, I was sleeping when this happened, but I did see it. Stephen A. Smith, our former morning guy years ago, and nobody listened to his show. My God, he had no listeners when he worked here. But anyway, Stephen A. Smith, apparently he's done okay at TV. So he and some guy named Chris Russo were debating whether or not Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani are having a better season. Now, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because of the comedic value. So Stephen A. Smith, who is Mr. Baseball, he picked Ohtani. He said Ohtani was having the better season than Aaron Judge. And that caught people off guard. Stephen A. Smith likes to brag about the fact he's a Yankee fan and all that. So the reason you sent me this is because of his analysis, his baseball analysis. As Stephen A., hand to God, said that Aaron Judge benefits from hitting in front of Juan Soto in the Bronx, and that is why he has had the year that he's had for the Yankees, which is quite the take. There's just one problem with the take. If we could fine-tune the take, Juan Soto hits second in the lineup. Aaron Judge hits one spot ahead of Judge. So Soto and then Judge. Soto hits second. That's one spot ahead of Aaron Judge in the lineup. And that has been the way the Yankee lineup has been pretty much the entire season. In fact, I don't think there's a single game this year where the roles have been reversed, where Soto is protecting Aaron Judge. So who goofed? I've got to know. Who's to blame for this humdinger of a mistake? Stephen A. being exposed for his lack of baseball knowledge. So what's going to happen here, I know how this works, some low-level staffer will be sacrificed because the way these shows work, there are these things called segment producers. And the segment producer goes over all the talking points. That's the lifeblood of these debate TV shows. And so Stephen A., who's paid to talk about sports, but as we like to say here, not paid to watch sports. So he that's his shtick, right? We know how this works. And Stephen A. Running the Amazon fulfillment center of takes, and he's packing the takes, he's sorting the takes, he's sending out endless takes. He's a showman, he's an entertainer and all that. He's playing a character. He doesn't actually know anything about baseball. He's not even really a Yankee fan. It's great. This is hilarious, though. That was a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. All right, now, final thought. We mentioned Ohtani already. There was a story involving the Doyers who beat the Orioles and Mr. Burns. Yeah, I didn't get any text from Sports with Coleman out of Baltimore. Must have gone to bed early. Anyway, can you explain why the Doyer fans, hundreds of them, were lined up over 7 hours early for the Dodger-Oriole game. They wanted that Ohtani bobblehead. But why so early? This one is simple. This was an investment. The most important resource that you have and I have is our time. So they were investing their time. They were thrifting. These are resellers. Buy low, sell high. Kind of obvious, right? You buy low, you sell high. A cornerstone of all facets of life, right? I mean, here's the thing about this story with Ohtani and the bobblehead. There were a certain number, I'm not sure how many, that were the golden bobble, like extra special bobble. And there are 126 million men, women, and children that live in Japan. And we are told that Ohtani is a demigod. He's beloved. He's a hero. He's like a amazing piece of folklore in Japan. So, okay, for the price of a ticket, you had a chance to win the lottery. Now, the regular Ohtani bobbleheads are worth like $200. But if you ended up getting one of the golden bobbles, that is a several $1,000 item that you can cash in. And last I checked, the minimum price on the eBay was $2,500. I think there are some going for much more than that, those golden bobbles.